Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lena, and today we are talking about the benefits of living debt-free. Perhaps you're thinking about paying off debt and you're wondering, is it really worth it? Is life really different after you pay off debt? How much freer would I really be? Would my life really change? Is it even worth it? Should I go for gazelle intense? Should I go for the debt snowball? When you're thinking about this, I want to give you the light at the end of the tunnel. What is it like after you pay off debt, and how is your life better after you pay off debt? Drop a comment and let me know what has changed for you if you've paid off debt. I want to hear how your life has changed for the better since paying off debt. If this is your first time finding my channel, welcome. So glad you're here. I make videos talking about money and home and how we can make those things simpler and more enjoyable. If you need more content like that in your life, please hit that subscribe button and ring the little bell so that you don't miss any of my future uploads. And with that, let's get right into the video. So for the sake of this video, what I mean by living debt-free is that you don't have consumer debt or student loans or credit card debt or things like that. We still have a loan on our house, but I'm not counting that as debt in this video. So we were incredibly fortunate when I went to school. We were able to pay for most of it as we were going, and we didn't actually need to take out that many loans. We actually paid off my student loans very quickly because there weren't that many of them. And then we also had a loan on a lemon Subaru, and we also paid that off. So it's been about 2 or 3 years since we paid off our consumer debt. So the first thing that I really enjoy about being debt-free is that life is less complicated. Not saying that it isn't complicated at all, but it's definitely less complicated when you have less things to think about or worry about. I'm not thinking about how much interest I just had to pay on my student loan. I'm not calculating how I'm going to do my debt payoff. I'm not getting into all my accounts and trying to figure out how much remaining balance there is. I just don't even have to worry about them because those accounts are totally closed. And so we can just forget about them and move on with our lives. And that is so relieving to me. So I made a whole video about the debt snowball and exactly how to do it and all the steps that you need to do to make it happen. So if you're interested in that and you're thinking about getting out of debt, definitely check out that video. But you know, that's a bit of work to figure all those things out and organize all your debts and figure out how you're going to do that, especially if you've got more than just a few. What if you have 10 different debts you need to pay? This is a lot of organization. Our life is just so much less complicated because we don't have to think about any of those debts or worry about them or make sure they're being paid on time or anything like that. I am worry-free in that area of life. Okay, the next thing I love about being debt-free is less obligation. And this is also less obligations with your money. You can decide what you're gonna spend your money on. When you are in debt and you know you have to pay that loan back, that money is not owned by you and you don't get to choose how you're going to spend it. Once it's gone, that money is yours and you can do whatever you want with it. So perhaps you have a $500 payment on your car. Once that's gone, you could spend that $500 doing whatever you wanted. So if you get rid of your $500 a month car payment, that means you have $6 grand extra a year to spend how you would like. So I'm thinking I could go to Disneyland on $6,000. So that's maybe what I would be saving that money for. But when you have that freedom, you get to choose. How are you going to spend that $6 grand extra a year? You're the boss and you don't owe it to the car loan company, which is so cool. And maybe you wouldn't spend all your extra money on going to Disneyland, but perhaps you take vacations, perhaps you buy that special purse. Whatever it is, you get to decide how you're going to spend your money or if you're going to invest it or whatever you're going to do. The next thing I love about living debt-free is the freedom. It simply gives me more choices because I know that I do not have to make a certain amount of money to pay those debts back. It just takes so much pressure off of working and life when you're not thinking like, okay, we have to make this certain amount of money or we're not going to be able to pay all our bills. And that can be a real big problem. So when the gap between your income and your expenses expands because you paid off debt, especially if you're throwing more money out of it, that gap is like getting bigger and bigger. That is freedom. This is like the little bit of wiggle room you have in your life to feel like you can take a couple weeks off, or go on that cool vacation, or take an extended maternity leave, or whatever it is. When you have more of that gap, you have more freedom of your time to choose the things that are important to you and what you're going to do with your life. This is also could mean that as a mom, you could work less if that is something that you would like. So if you are a mom and your dream is really to stay home full time with your kids, but you have a bunch of debt and that debt is keeping you from staying home with your kids, if you can pay off that debt, it could enable you to have a whole nother level of freedom and the freedom to stay home and do what you wanted to do. One of the first things I noticed after we sent in that last payment for the car loan is the emotional freedom. It's like a weight was lifted off my shoulders, and I didn't even know that that weight was there until it was gone, and I was like, I feel so much better. So there are emotional benefits to paying off debt because you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to scheme about it. You don't have to decide if you're going to make an extra payment. You don't have to decide if you're going to make a minimum payment. You don't have to decide if you're going to refinance your student loans. It's all gone. It means that that emotionally difficult part of your life is gone, and you do not have to carry that burden around with you anymore, which is so fun. This also ties into that freedom piece that we were talking about before, and this is emotional freedom from feeling like you have to work this amount or do this this way or whatever it is to make sure that you make enough money to pay that loan. So once that loan is gone, the emotional stress of having to figure all those things out is lifted because you don't have to figure out if you're going to need to pick up a few more shifts at work to make sure you can make your loan payment. Another benefit to being debt-free is that you are not a time slave. So most of us trade our time for money. So my husband spends a certain amount of time at work and they give him money for that time. So whatever debts you have are being paid with your time. So if it takes a quarter of your household's yearly income to pay your debts, I have something depressing for you. This means that you spend 3 months out of the year simply paying for your debts. And that is a very sobering thought. So if you guys are using a quarter of your income to pay your debts and you are paying 16% of your income in taxes, this represents 5 months out of every year that you are not working for yourself or furthering your goals. You are simply paying the government their money and paying your loans. I'm calculating that if you're paying 16% in taxes, that's 2 months of work about, and if you're spending 25% of your income paying your loans, then that's another 3 months. So that's 5 months out of the year that you are not doing anything exciting or fun. You're just paying your loans. But once those loans are gone, that means more of the year you are making money for yourself and your goals. Yes, we still pay a lot of taxes, which means part of the year, technically, you're just working for the government. And this just makes me want to maximize the other parts of our income and the other parts of our year that aren't spent working for other people. It's so exciting to take back your income by paying off your loans. If you want to learn more about how to do a debt snowball to get this going, I have a video about that. And if what you really need right now is help making your first simple budget, I also have a video all about making your first budget. So go ahead and check those out. Give this video a big thumbs up to let YouTube know that they should show it to more people. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye for now.